Congressman Stauber, how are you today?
Hey, good afternoon, Brad. How are you?
Very good. I've been watching the votes that have been taking place to try to come up with a speaker, and I understand that Congressman Jim Jordan has withdrawn temporarily in the hunt for a speaker. Your vote yesterday, I know that you voted for him originally. On the second vote, you pulled your vote and voted for Arkansas Representative Bruce Westerman. And that's caused some controversy with some of our listeners, few of your long-term supporters. And they're wondering what happened. So, and as Jerry said, the best way is to go right to the horse's mouth. So why don't you explain what happened and what your reasoning for that was?
Sure. Thanks for this opportunity and this opportunity to clear things up and explain my vote and where we're at right now. Remember, we are here because Matt Gaetz and 7 other Republicans weaponized the Democrat conference against our Speaker McCarthy. Matt Gaetz voted, and those 7 other Republicans voted with the 208 Democrats to vacate the Speaker. We told Gaetz and his supporters, if he does that, it's going to be damaging to our conference and our country. But because of personality differences that Gaetz had with McCarthy, here's where we're at. So what happens is when you have a vacant speaker, Kevin McCarthy, once he becomes Speaker of the House, in a secret envelope is a name if something happens to him, and they came about because of 9/11. Patrick McHenry is our pro tem speaker right now, and so we're trying to get a vote on speaker. So our House rules, for your listeners, our House rules are majority of the majority. We have 221 Republicans in the House right now. We had 222, but Chris Stewart from Utah resigned. We have 221. So the majority of Republicans in the House is 111 votes. 111. Our rules say, if you get the majority of the majority, you have to get behind that speaker. So what happened is on the first vote, Steve Scalise from Louisiana got 113 votes.
Okay.
Jim Jordan got 99. Jim Jordan refused to accept those results and went against the conference rules and in front of all of us said to Steve Scalise in conference, if you can get to 217 votes in conference, I will support you, nominate you as Speaker. This is what Jim Jordan said to Steve Scalise. So they gave Steve some time to talk to some of the naysayers. Steve Scalise met with the people that didn't originally support him, and he couldn't sway them. Steve Scalise knew he could not get to 217. So the next morning, he says to our entire conference, I can do math. I will not get to 217 for the benefit of this conference and, more importantly, our country. I am taking my name out of the hat. So now we have to go through the race again. The second round, Jim Jordan gets in the race, and so does a guy by the name of Austin Scott from Georgia. Austin Scott gets 81 votes. Jim Jordan gets 124 votes. Jim Jordan wins the majority of the majority. Austin Scott says, let's get behind Jim. Under Jim's own rules now, before we were to leave conference, we needed 217 votes because that's what he told Scalise. Right. So 2 days ago when I voted, I gave Jim Jordan the benefit of the doubt that he had 217 coming out of conference because that's what he demanded of Steve Scalise. So I voted with Jim Jordan, the first vote, because he said he would have 217 coming out of conference. In fact, he lost 20 votes. Keep in mind, back in January, Kevin McCarthy lost 9, and it took us 15 votes to finally get there, and McCarthy had to promise people certain things. Right? So. Right.
Yes.
So as this goes on, it has become very clear because I talked to 18 of those 20 no votes the first time. Each of them to a person said, Pete, we are not changing our vote. that means that Jim Jordan will never become Speaker of the House if those folks hold on. And to me, I don't want to put our country or our conference through this. And I told Jim, the next vote, I am going to be voting against you. And I said, with all due respect, Jim, you are the best judiciary chair we've ever had. You have exposed the Biden crime family like nobody else. But I believe the best thing for you to do is withdraw like Kevin McCarthy did when he couldn't get 217, like Steve Scott said when he couldn't get 217. And this is tearing our conference apart, and he can't see that. And so the reason he's stalling a third vote, because we have it, we talk, right, amongst our colleagues. There's going to be between 3 and 5, maybe more at conference. I just came back from conference. There may be more that are going to vote against Jim Jordan. So now he's going to have about a 30 no's. And wow. For your listeners, by the way, Jim Jordan, when he beat Austin Scott with 124 votes, got the majority of the majority. Jim Jordan asked for a validation vote. A validation meaning before we go to the floor. 55 Republicans voted against him, and one voted president, and 9 were not there. So we can safely assume it was probably 58 or 59 no votes. And again, he still went to the House floor knowing that. And the pressure that is being put on members of Congress to vote a certain way is horrible. There are death threats to members of Congress that voted for and against, and we do better. We know America needs a speaker. We have the world. We know the world's burning, Brad. But that's my reasoning. Jim has to understand the most honorable thing he can do right now for the country and our conference is to take his name out of the hat, because there are several people that have come up to me privately that say they will put their name in the hat, and they are just as conservative and just as honorable. So I look forward to the discussion. And again, we have to get back to work.
Exactly. And Jim, Congressman, I don't need to tell you that there are a couple of things out here that a lot of people are paying attention to. And one of them is that we've got fiscal problems in this country. And the other one is that there seems to be war drums beating in the horizon. And you're absolutely right. We need a speaker that can pull the whole House together on these issues. Where do you see us going? Are we going to have an interim speaker? Are we going to just ride that way for a while? Or do you think there's anybody, Congressman Stauber, that can really pull the whole organization together and get to that 217?
Well, first of all, we're going to elect a Republican speaker with Republican votes. Okay?
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen. We're not going to coalesce with the Democrats and have a coalition a speaker. We are going to elect a Republican speaker with the Republican majority. And you know what, Brad, the things that the appropriations, the major appropriations that have passed the House, we have 3 of them had Matt Gaetz, and those 7 others not teamed with the 208 Democrats to remove. We would have had maybe 7, maybe 8 appropriations done, and we'd have 4 left. And those, we have 3 appropriations right now sitting on Chuck Schumer's desk. He's not doing anything with them. He wants these continuing resolutions. He wants to do business as usual at the last minute and stuff on. So I will tell the listeners, we're moving forward. We had a great conference discussion, and what some of the things that are said in conference are going to stay in conference. I want my colleagues to know that that's a trusting environment.
Sure.
But we've passed appropriations. We're doing some good work. We're back to regular order. And of course, I wish that we wouldn't have been gone home recessed in August to get our work done. But the fact is we did, right? And I'm telling you what, I voted for the continuing resolution because our military men and women will get paid and our Border Patrol men and women will get paid.
Amen.
That's something that I've committed to. They will not go out with paycheck. And by the way, in the National Defense Authorization Act that every single Democrat voted against, there was the biggest increase for military members in over 20 years. So we're doing some good stuff. It's about getting it in on the floor in the Senate and then having the president, sign it into law. Sure. I am not making and never have and will ask anybody to do deals that are running for speaker. I'm voting on a principled individual. I'm not going to ask for deals like McCarthy did. In order for McCarthy to get the last couple votes, he made deals with them. And that's not right. And they called him out on him, called him out on it. So, and I thought we follow the conference rules. We follow the conference rules. And again, to the listeners, on the very first vote, Jim Jordan didn't follow the conference rules.
I certainly hope, Congressman, that you can find somebody in that group of 221 that can carry the water for the 217, because it on the outside, it looks very bad. If you remember Lou Lotto before he passed away, Lou used to always say the Republicans, and sometimes they can screw up a 2-car funeral. And that's what I keep thinking of with this. We've got an opportunity here. The public elected a majority of Republicans to the House, and yet we can't seem to come up with a leader.
Well, let's go back to the Matt Gaetz and those 7 others. James Comer, who's doing the investigation oversight of the Biden, said, if you do this, I can't subpoenas. I can't force witnesses to come in. And he still did it anyways. Look at what James Comer has exposed in the Biden family.
Oh, man. It's incredible. And it's only started. Yeah, it's just starting.
And we told Matt Gaetz and those 7 others, if you vacate, this is exactly what's going to happen. And it's stalled right now. And it's unfortunate. I have faith that we're going to come up with a Republican Speaker of the House with Republican votes very, very soon. But the fact is, Jim Jordan did not follow the House rules. And this is why we're here. And I voted for him the first time because I assumed he had 217 because he said nobody should go to the floor without 217. And he went to the floor anyways. And so I would suspect, again, to the voters, if he tries to go a third time, again, 3-5, 1-6, he's going to lose. And so I think again, Kevin McCarthy did the honorable thing, stepped aside. Steve Scalise, an American hero, did the honorable thing and stepped aside. And so, and with all due respect to Jim Jordan, he is a tremendous member of our conference who's taken judiciary, the oversight on judiciary to a level that the American people have never seen and the American people respect. And I want to share this with you. In January, and it was between either the House vote on McCarthy the 6th or 7th time we convened, I actually went up to Jim Jordan and I said, Jim, you have to run for Speaker of the House. You have to. And he wouldn't do it because he wanted to stay on judiciary and root out the crimes that are happening and the bribes that are taking place at the highest levels of our government. So this is where we are. Again, I just came out of conference, and I just appreciate this opportunity to talk to your wonderful listeners and try to.
Well, and we appreciate you, Congressman Stauber, coming forward and giving us the straight scoop on it. I know you got to get back to work, or we got to take a hard break here. But thank you so much for your time this morning, and hope we can find an easy path to a leadership here. Congressman Pete Stauber, the 8th District, thank you so much.